Get that phone off the camera. Good morning, beautiful people, and welcome back to another podcast. Do you like my time, Garmish? I quit. Garnish. I've been in my crashing out era because I'm like burned out, and I keep working because I have to keep working because I have to be reliable at work. I don't want to get replaced. I don't want to get fired, and also I want to be like reliable and a good worker and all that stuff. But I'm also exhausted from working, so only slightly over, but still like over 40 hours a week, and then going home, scrubbing my house, getting it all cleaned up because it was just for my sake. I'm not gonna say because it was horrible. It just honestly for my standards, for my sake. And I don't know. It's a lot. I literally just can't stop doing something after work at this point. On my rest day, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna cook. I cooked. Okay, count this. I cooked Spanish rice, like 2 or 3. Well, definitely. Let's say the most accurate way to measure it is 3 to 4 pounds of ground beef worth of chili. So that's like 2 to 3 family size servings of chili. Again, Spanish rice. So that's 2 things. Pasta alla arrabbiata. Um, Vodka penne pasta, which I forgot I had actually until now. And I also froze. That's probably not concerning. Anyway, I made, I don't know, 2 other things. Like, don't even make me think. I made 6 or 7 dishes on my rest day because I was like, girl, I can't rest. It stresses me out, which doesn't make sense. Living stresses me out. And so I'm like doing all that while I'm doing this, which I love this, don't get me wrong, but it's still a responsibility. And then lately I've had an additional responsibility of mine that's needed stuff pretty urgently, and I just wasn't able to keep up with their urgent needs. And so I had to just politely inform them that I don't want to weigh them down, and that doesn't matter. I don't want to get into that. That's like a personal matter we don't need to get into. But like that on top of, again, 40 plus hours of work, cleaning every day after work, and literally until I go to sleep, by the way. So I get home like 4 o'clock, 4:30. Depends on the day I'm working, but like on average. And then I go home, and I kid you not, immediately I just start cleaning something or doing something or building something or something until about 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock is early, honestly, oddly enough. And then I start going to bed like 8 or 9 o'clock. I wake up, I have to leave by like 6 a.m., and I repeat the cycle. It's exhausting, believe it or not. And it's a really hard trade-off I've had to deal with. I've been like definitely, plus I feel like my mental health hasn't been great. I feel like it's literally like an annual thing. Like seasonal depression, but like I don't know if it actually has anything to do with the seasons, in the sense of it seems like every year, like around the same time of the year, there's a certain period where I'm just like super depressed. And because I'm always, I got that chemistry for depression, but like it's like I've gotten pretty good at like balancing it. I would like to think this arm is actually really annoying. I lowered the arm, and I don't like it because I can just hit it. It's just in my way. It's kind of making me mad. But again, everything's making me is making me mad lately. So, look how close this is. Like I don't like that. I don't know. We're gonna have to see how it looks on. I don't even think it's gonna look better on camera, to be quite honest. I think we're probably just gonna go back to how it was before, but I'm giving it a shot. We're trying all these different angles. Oh, did y'all notice the pains? They were so expensive. We don't need to talk about it. Anyway, um, basically, literally every day for the past somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks, maybe more. I really don't know. It might be more at this point, but like 2 to 4 weeks at least, every day, I've been from 6 a.m. until like 9 p.m. on average, just on, scrubbing stuff, disinfecting stuff, building stuff, figuring out the logistics of stuff. And my body's like very much, girl, we are mentally struggling as is. The burnout's not helping. And while I really do like having like a perfect, and I mean perfect house, and homemade food that I enjoy and I can actually eat, and all of this stuff that makes me like happy, and like this nice stuff and this nice environment and stuff, my body is begging. So I requested that I take off tomorrow because I went to work today just like any other day. I was like, yeah, I can't do this. But I have to do it. And I'm just burnt. My productivity is just not what I would like it to be. And I was like, yeah, I need the day off tomorrow, if like at all possible. I've had that text in my mind for like at least a few days, if not a week now. But I'm just so over it. I'm over, which this is how I know it's bad too. Actually, oddly enough, this is a really big sign of my depression, is people at work make me mad. Because that doesn't really happen when I'm like doing good and stuff. I'll be like fine about it, you know? It's like, oh, this person is just objectively bad at their job, but like it's not my problem. like if I've learned to wait until leadership asks me because I tried to give my opinions, and my job was in parole over it, I fear, and I can get why I can, but it was a learning experience for sure. So if somebody asks me, I will be like, yeah, that person isn't fit for the job, but I've also learned why, because they don't care. Like, I've screamed from the rooftop, this person's a problem, I don't think you should do this, and I just, it's like I'm talking to the wind, and then that person quits or makes up drama or keeps upsetting customers, and I'm like, Divas, I don't know what to tell you, but this desk is gonna be full of oil now. I used to be like way too scared to touch it and stuff. My hands are so oily. But anyway, maybe it'll make like a natural polish. Not actually, that's gross. Anyway, I've learned to just keep my opinion to myself. But like that's the thing, is like normally I could do that and I could be like, yeah, this person's not good at their job, but you know what? It really doesn't matter because all I have to do is my job. I have to say, I reported this to you. I have the documentation here. I informed you of this. I advised you of this. And then, like, my job's fine. And that's really all that matters. Because at the end of the day, I mean, as ChatGPT says, not my monkeys, not my circus, not my monkeys. I think actually would make more sense. Not my circus, not my monkeys, I think. In the sense of, which has been made very clear to me multiple times, by the way, that if I want to run my own business, I can do that, but this is how they run theirs, and shut up. They say everything except shut up. They do say, Logan, if you want to run your own business, you can do that, but this is how I run it. They do say that part. And then they find another way of saying shut up. Like, so just do it. And that's fair. They're right. This whole video is blurry, I'm crashing out because I didn't actually check. But yeah, I mean, whenever I'm mentally like just not doing great, it'll actually get to me. And that's where I've been at lately. So that's why I'm like, yeah, it's time to take a break before I tell somebody that something I just shouldn't tell somebody. And this time is sending me. I don't know what to do with it. All the ice has melted already. Um, this is a vodka soda, by the way. Um, I wanted something to drink, but I'm tired of. Beer has been making me angry, like raging. I'm not joking. Um, I had almost 2 beers like last week, and I literally was just furious. Horrible. Would not recommend. Um, and wine even has started making me frustrated, and I'm tired of both of them, quite honestly. And I kind of wanted to go back to cocktails, but I want something hydrating and like diluted and stuff. So I just made like a light vodka soda, um, because I'm still overwhelmed. And it's an excuse. It is an excuse. An excuse is an excuse. But like, girl, mm-mm. um. Anyway, I don't want to say back to what I was saying originally. I don't want to say something that I don't want to say. You know, I don't want to say this person always causes this. This person, I hate something about me actually is like sometimes I'll like gossip about somebody or something, like to try to fit in, and then afterwards I just feel so ooh, because the only time I ever say something like that is because I'm like, well, they're the type that that's all that they talk about and that's all they talk like, and then afterwards when I realize what I did, I'm like, oh, now they're just gonna go spread that out. I'm pretty sure, by the way, this person makes up stuff. Okay, there is a person, we're gonna name them Polanski. Okay, po- we'll see if I remember that later, but this person named Polanski. Okay, Polanski. Okay, cosplays a really fun, lovable person, which, by the way, I've found red flag. I've found in the past the most likable people are usually the worst people. Hot take, but like, um, probably just me projecting, but still, I mean, everybody that I've met that everybody loves, if you talk to like their family and like people that love them, it's such a different story. My brother was the same way. Oh my gosh, we don't need to get into that. But like, I don't know, we might later. But like, not right now. We have too much to talk about right now. But like, the way that people were like, he was such an inspiration. He's the best man I've ever met. He was my role model. He was my role model. What really sent me is whenever somebody said, I hope this doesn't offend anybody or anything at the funeral. Whoever said this, I still remember you. I don't fully remember your face. I might recognize you in a room full of people, but probably not. Maybe though. I vaguely remember you being like the glasses nerdy type, stereotypically. That's all that I really remember. Like, no shade, no disrespect. It's just like, that's my best guess. If I'm accurate, let me know. You're probably not seeing this though, because there's like almost no way you even know about this. But yeah. So you're like, but now my dead brother's in my head. Hold up. Why am I saying hold up? Like, what am I gonna do? Erase memory? We clear my cache for the past 10 seconds. Um. Anyway, um, somebody said they were literally like, I hope this doesn't offend anybody. Sending me, but like I really saw him like an older brother, and I audibly at the funeral went. I wanted him to hear me laugh because also I was in the front row. But like I think I was in the front row. I would assume I was in the front row because I'm pretty close family. I mean, I don't know. I think I was in the front row, but anyway, um, I did. I was intentional about it. I went because I was like, I wasn't too horrible about it. I wasn't like, like, but I was audibly like, and then I like shut myself up really quickly, just to show a little bit of respect, but also like, girl, you don't know the half of it. Like, anyway, and so, um, yeah, every time I met somebody that's just super likable, when you get to know people that really are close to them, it's a different story. But unless those people are delusional, like If you ask like my mother, she'd probably say that my brother was so like kind and give. My thing is, okay, she might genuinely be delusional. Like not even in a dramatic, exaggerated way. Like in a biological, he's dead, and also the cultural raising of don't speak ill of the dead. Girl, why not? By the way, if the dead murdered children, can I say that? If the dead unalived young people, okay, why do, if they die, why do you have to say only the good things? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, now I'm not saying speak ill of the dead in the sense of like gossip about them, but also like if they traumatized you or if they objectively did something bad that's relevant, it's like, oh, we were gonna donate $1 million. Okay, let's play this out. Okay, let's say Planned Parenthood, hypothetically, allegedly, calls and they're like, hey, I really want to donate $1 million to your foundation because this person seemed like a really good person, and like they're like, we just need to know if there's anything about their beliefs or what they did that might contradict with like us, because like we don't want to be associated with anything that could contradict to us, but that person seemed like a really good person. And then you say, oh, should I tell them that this person was super, what's the word for it? There's pro-abortion and then there's, I don't know, what is it? Just genuinely anti-abortion? But like, you should tell them, yeah, that person actually has said really awful things about you publicly on the internet. I'm amazed you haven't seen them yet. You should probably review those. And please donate if you want, but like, that's not speaking ill of the dead. You know what I mean? Like, I don't actually know how to do the clocking thing. I always just vary. Sometimes I'll just be like ring finger, middle finger. I think it's one or the other of those two. I don't think it's pointer. I know it's not pinky, right? I guess I don't know. It's pretty sure it's not pinky. But it's like, you know, you're not speaking ill of the dead. You're stating factual information. Anyway, dead brother aside, back to where we started with. I'm pretty sure this person named, I already forgot it. See, we need something simpler. We're going to say their name is, oh, shoot. What is, oh my gosh. What is their name? Michael. We're going to say their name is Michael, okay? Because I forgot the other one. Michael is the one who likes to just like, he's super likable. Everybody likes him. But like, I think that Michael makes up stuff to start drama, because I'm not gonna say why. But I do, okay? I do think that, okay? I think Michael just makes up stuff because he likes to stir the pot, genuinely. And I'm going to keep my mouth shut about anything other than that, because that is pure hypothetical. Nothing identifying about that, nothing problematic about that, okay? But if I get more into it, it could be more identifiable. So anyway, where did I even go with this? Oh yeah, like Michael is super likable, but Michael also loves chisme. He's like, ooh, let's talk trash about somebody. Oh, this employee's just so this. Ugh, this generation just so that. This that, and it's like on one hand, I'm absolutely that person, you know, but on the other hand, I'm not at all that person. I'm absolutely the person to be like, like clocking people in the sense of like, this person just doesn't want to do their job. Okay, like that's one thing, okay? But being like, this person never does their job probably because they grew up with everybody spoon feeding them everything, and now they don't know the value of hard work. Like, girl, that's just defamation. Okay, that doesn't help anybody. Nothing good is coming out of that. But like every now and then I'll slip, because I'll just like love talking to this person, and I'll be like, you know what'll get them talking is adding an example that I shouldn't add. and not about work, just like about like my personal life and my personal opinions. And then they have tea. And then they use that and they twist it about something. And I can't get into why I think that person is making stuff up because it could be identifiable. But just know that there is a good reason, okay? That's all that I can say, unfortunately. But yeah. Anyway, and that person's around a lot, and I'm so frustrated lately, y'all. I love people. I do. Okay, I have two great examples today of how I love people, but also my patience has just gone. Okay. I gotta start just swallowing by the mic so y'all know if you're just listening to audio what I'm doing. Um, I also have to remember that's not my first drink. Anyway, um, ooh, am I clipping bad? Ooh, sorry. I told you when I get passionate, I just be like, anyway, and so this where was I? Quite honestly, um, child. Anyway, so I had two examples of customers from today alone, okay? I had one customer and you could tell like it was purely good intention, okay? And this is just what I mean of like you can just tell that I'm just not in a great mental headspace, okay? They called me and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I must have the wrong number." And I was like, "Yeah, no worries." They hang up immediately, like seconds afterwards. They call me back. And every time when this happens, when people repeat call, I always treat it like a new call because that's the professional thing to do. I have had people, which makes me so upset. I have called places twice on accident, and they straight up just led with aggression. Like I was like, "How much would that cost?" And then I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And then I'd call somewhere else, and then they answered the phone, and instead of greeting me like a new customer or anything, they were like, "Yeah." Or something like that. A professional too, not even just like some handyman one man company. Like I can't really name drop, but like on the scale of like Big O Tires, I can tell you for sure it's not Big O Tires, okay? But on the scale of a well established company, okay? Um, and they would just be like, "What?" Or like, "Yeah," and I would be like, "Oh, I was calling to find out how much," and they like just like interrupt me and be like I said, it would cost this and then that. Literally that way. They would say it that way. And I would be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize I already spoke with you. We could have just had a polite, normal greeting of like, we're going to make up a place. Jessica's Tires. Um, how can I help you?" Not that hard to say twice, you know? Especially because, like, also, why are you like so obsessive that you're watching and tracking who's already called you? That's a little weird. You know what I mean? You're holding it against me that you're putting time into that, but like, okay, um, it's not that hard to just say the greeting again and then be like, "Oh, hey, yeah, so how we do it is this is how I do it." I literally treat it like a brand new customer, even if I know I've talked to the person before. I will re-explain everything exactly the same, um, and if you don't want to do that, you could also just say, "Oh, hey, we just got off the phone. I'm not sure if you realize that, um, like we discussed, it would be this and then that and then that." Not that hard. Basic human courtesy, okay? And so whenever people call me, I just I say the same greeting. So I don't work for Jessica Tires. I have nothing to do with Jessica Tires. But no, Jessica Tires I don't think is a thing. So um, if it is, nothing to do with it. But I would answer and I'd be like, "Jessica Tires, this is Logan." Um, and then they'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have the wrong number." I'd be like, "No worries, have a great day." They'd hang up. Ring, ring, ring. "Jessica Tires, this is Logan." "Oh, I'm sorry, hang up." Okay, so we got two in, okay? Then again, just a few seconds. Ring, ring, ring. Same number, same person. Jessica Tires, this is Logan. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. um, and they said, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I really feel like they did feel bad and they weren't trying to, but they just kept calling me. This is another, okay, huge piece of advice to everybody, by the way. Before you click a phone number online, look at who it is. Because I don't know why. And it seems like especially older generation, like my parents' generation, just Google's like, if they were looking for like, um, what's a good example? If they were looking for somebody to install like a gas system into their home, they would look up gas company and then call the utility company because Google has sponsored posts. And the gas company, the utility company advertises the most, let's say, okay. And you're not going to get the right people. But then you're going to start off with, because I've had people do this, okay? They start off and they're like, hey, I need somebody to install blah, 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 blah. I've been thinking blah, 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 blah. And then like, you explain all of that energy and put all the energy you should be using, which, okay, here's the thing. I'm not mad that you spent the time talking to me. I'm happy to hear you out. But I know from the consumer, it's like therapy, you know? If you tell a therapist everything and then they're like, yeah, I can't help you with that. Sorry. And you have to go see a new therapist. It's so draining. By the time you talk to the next therapist, you don't give them nearly as much detail because you've already like put so much effort in and you're tired. It's the same thing, you know? So like before you click call, just read it. Like, oh, I'm trying to get a hold of my utility company. This is the gas utility company. Fantastic. Call. Please? Anyway, and so this person calls a third time within a few seconds. I greet them. I say, Jessica Tires, this is Logan. And then they're like, I'm so sorry. Like, you can tell they're genuinely sorry. I don't know why they keep getting, like, I actually do know why. Because they were calling, I think, a sponsored thing. Because I don't know if I can tell you how I know that. But I can tell you that I think I know that. And and then they call again. And I'm like, this time, though, it was a few minutes, okay? There was, like, 9 minutes between it or something. But then they call again. And I was like, no. They ended up hanging up before I could greet them again. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I started getting frustrated, and it's not because I was like, ugh, these old people don't pay attention. Nothing like that. It was just because it stresses me out so much because it's my job to call you back if you hang up before I can talk to you or something. And I'm now put in a situation where I have to do that, even though I know you don't need our company. And I know you're going to get mad at me because you're going to be like, you know, I don't need your company. Why are you calling me? I've already accidentally contacted you 3 times now. I don't need to talk to you. But like, shoot the messenger, I guess. Like, people love to shoot the messenger. And I just, it reminds me of Gatsby. We might talk about Gatsby this week. But yeah, I don't know. Stuff like that even has been bothering me, and it's like I'm such a patient, caring person. I love people, okay? And same with, like, we got this lady who called, and like, she had a disability, we'll say that, okay? And I was so happy I'm the one who got that call, because I also know, especially with like where I live and where I'm from, people are so inconsiderate and rude, and genuinely just have no experience with people with disabilities, and they're just so, they'll like either I might say this, but like infantilize you, like treating you like you are an infant, literally, or they just won't accommodate anything. They'll be like, ma'am or sir, I don't care. This is how we do it. We have no other way of doing it. If you don't like it, then I'm sorry, but we can't help you. It's like not that hard to accommodate for people's needs. Like sometimes it might be okay. Sometimes like we can't help you, sure. Like yeah, I'm not gonna give examples, but sometimes okay, sure. But like if somebody's like blind, for example, okay. If somebody's blind, girl, why exactly would we not be able to help them? Like somebody please explain. It takes minimal extra human effort, not even like labor. It's not like harder to do work on somebody with a disability's house. It's a house. A house is a house. And so I was glad I could get that call because I could like make accommodations, make sure that everybody knows what they need to do. They're aware of like how to treat this person. They don't infantilize them and be like doing something horrible. Like if it was like a deaf person, oh gosh, doing something like, man, like screaming like, ma'am, your outlet is broken. I can't say. Or like pointing towards it, being like, outlet, no word. It's just so condescending. I mean, I can't fully say that, given that like I have the privilege of not being deaf. Okay, but like it's just a good example of how people are just so uneducated, and I can't fully blame them. Okay, because you just most people just don't have to deal with disabilities. Okay, like, and that's fantastic. I feel blessed to know that I never really had to deal with like major disabilities. Like I never had to like, oh my gosh, this time is gonna flavor my vodka soda. Honestly, that this would be like $14 at a bar. Anyway, um, people are just so like unaware of the privilege it is to not have to deal with that. I never had to deal with major things like living with somebody who's deaf or blind or something, where they can't physically live like a normal person, you know? And I take that as a privilege and as a blessing. But at the same time, I love learning about it because if I ever encounter somebody who's deaf or blind or severely autistic or with Down syndrome or something, I want to be human to them, not be um like with somebody who's like blind. No, what's a better example? Somebody who's deaf, they may have a translator, okay? And like a lot of people would probably just talk to the translator and be like, would she like me to do this? Can you ask her if she blah blah? But like, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, make me more woke if needed. But like, a translator isn't meant to be there as like a conservatorship. A translator is purely there for like their language to make sense to you. Okay, so like whether it's Spanish or it's ASL, okay, I stand by. You should like look at the person you're talking to and talk to them, and the translator can translate it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like it's just basic respect because it's again with infantilizing of being like, oh well, they can't speak for themselves. Oh, they can't this, they can't that. They can, like, yes, they can. It's just a translator, or like for blindness, it's like there's like certain things like on the roads and stuff, or not the James Charles incident where where he was like I guys, don't you just like hate those bumpy things on the outside of like Target? Which to be fair, okay, I didn't really know exactly what those were for until he made that video. But like girl, he really set himself up there. um but my point is just being aware of that kind of stuff, or being aware that you're not aware why, you know, like they say, if you don't know what a tool's for, it's likely not designed for you, type thing. Now I will say I live far too deep in a world of, or in a mindset of, I'm afraid of being canceled. Far too deep in it. It's something I'm trying to crawl out of. Okay. Um, but anyway, all this to say, that's something I love about my job. I love when somebody lonely calls and you can tell that they just need somebody to talk to. And I love extending the conversation. Obviously, I'm not going to talk to them for 2 hours. I would probably if it was real life, but I'm being paid, which means I could be fired, which I can't really let happen. I also don't want the company wasting money. I don't like wasting money, even if it's not my own money. But I can absolutely be like, extend the conversation a little bit if they mention that they just moved from like California, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I love Los Angeles, and they'll be like, why? And I'll be like, I don't actually, I just wanted to see what you had to say about that. Oh my gosh, my camera's gonna die. You guys, I need to plug in my camera. Hold on. If something goes wrong, I'm gonna cry. I can't plug in my camera. Okay, guys, we're just gonna have to make this fast. We're gonna have to make this fast. Um, not us running the camera to its edge. Um, that's actually insane. It's like so close to death. Just in case something really bad happens, I'm gonna say a quick outro. Thank you all so much for listening to this week's podcast. I love you all so much. Please leave the best review that you can and best rating you can on whatever platform you're listening to this. It would mean so much. I would love to do this full time. Thank you all so much for listening. I love you all. I will see you next week. Anyway, we're gonna keep going though. Because we can't really wrap it up there unless we absolutely have to. But I can't physically plug in my camera right now. So, yeah. Anyway, all of this to say, I've been super burned out. I've been down bad, and it's been showing. And so I requested to take tomorrow off. I was told tomorrow's not really a good day off. Nobody's surprised by that. Like, they're like, can you at least come in the morning? And I was like, I'm going to. Because honestly, like, it's just 8 more hours. I'm gonna try to just work the day, but like, I'm so tired. But I've had a lot going on. Same with this set. I bought some tint for glass and I can't figure it out. It's making me crash out. I can figure so many other things out, but it's that kind of stuff that just grinds my gears. Like, the patience it takes in a way that I don't have patience. It's the most bizarre thing. Like, I will like slow roast a recipe for hours, mixing it every 30 minutes or whatever. Or make desserts like creme brulee where like the chemistry is essential. But then you're like, yeah, do this thing that you don't know how to do. And each time you mess up, it costs like $5. It makes me crash out very quickly. Yeah. Precision, I think, is my biggest issue. I do. I think that's my biggest issue. I don't like precision. I just don't. I mean, good enough is good enough to me. Like, how on earth am I supposed to cut in a perfectly straight line? Even if I use a ruler, I can't cut in a perfectly straight line. How do you want me to do that? Because I can't do that. I can't physically. I can't do straight lines. I don't know why some people can. I cannot. And so that's frustrating because that's like the biggest part of it is cutting in straight lines. And then also the application part. Oh my gosh. Like, I need somebody who does car wraps to help me with this. Thank you so much. But anyway, I can just feel the microphone draining my camera and my camera just losing battery. So I'm gonna end it there. I'm so sorry if this was a shorter one. I have more to talk about, but the footage might get corrupted if I let it die. So we can't let that happen. So thank you all so much for listening to this week's podcast. I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. If you enjoyed, please leave a like or a positive rating, whatever the best review you can leave on the platform is. It means so much to me. It supports me so much. I would love to do this full time someday. Thank you all so much for just supporting me doing this. I love you all. And let me know what you want to hear more about. I don't know. Let me know what you think of this new setup with the panels, and mainly the panels is the only thing that's changed. I cleaned the glass behind here, but I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, thank you all so much. I love you all. Adios. Au revoir.